Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Southern Nevada. I love this area. We used to live out here in Las Vegas, so this is kind of our old stomping grounds. We just spent a lot of time out here cruising around. So it feels like home.
It does.
And we were headed on a trail, headed up over those mountains yesterday. I'm going to take you out and show you an epic camp spot out there. Not that this one's bad. But on our way there, we pushed the Jeep pretty hard yesterday. We were running highway speeds, and it was getting warmer and warmer as we dropped elevation coming down south here. And by the time we got off onto the trail and started scooting along, I got a really intense fuel smell. So we had to pit stop and check things out. And I haven't had this issue in a while. More on that in a minute. So, you get the fuel smell, you stop over on the side of the trail, pop the hood, check things over. I'm not smelling anything under the hood. It seems fine. And we start crawling around underneath and inspecting for leaks and things like that. And come to find out, I came back to the gas tank and I could really smell it around the tank. And I kind of thought, do we have a leak up there, like crack a fitting, a vent, something like that. And nope, no, we had vapor pressurized inside the system. So I popped open the fuel filler cap and stuck a knife in there, and just tons of pressure came blowing out of there. So that's, we were in that vapor lock kind of thing, which is tough. I haven't had that issue after we wrapped the exhaust header. And I believe it's in the last one. We swapped that out because it cracked, but I did not re-wrap this exhaust manifold. My arm's getting tired.
Switch.
So, we got some real intense heat there, and it would pressurize the system. So I don't know if there is a clogged vent in there or what's going on exactly. But we relieved the pressure off of that, and then no more fuel smell. So, hunky-dory. However, when we were cruising around, I was laying down underneath and checking things over, trying to see if there was I popped a fuel line or something. I discovered a much more problematic circumstance. So, let me show you. Oh. It's nice to have a ground cloth or something to lay on, even though it's still rocky and whatever, but it keeps me out of all the dirt. This is a wax canvas ground cloth from a company in Colorado Bushcraft. Oh. But, so we get under here and all the fuel lines run right along the driver's side frame rail here. So that's where I started inspecting. And let me get you under here. Can you see that? This whole situation. This is the upper control arm bracket for the rear suspension. And we got a good crack going in there. It's not at the weld, but all the way up here. So that's the first thing I noticed, and that is a problem. This is not only if we lose a control arm bracket, all the fuel lines, electrical, and the brake lines are right on this bracket.
It's bad news bears. Very bad news bears.
So, we gotta do something about that. Luckily, we are in Las Vegas, where we happen to know a few shops and have some friends in town. So, we're gonna head on in. Probably gonna have to give this thing a bath so that we can actually inspect everything and make sure we don't have any other issues going on. That was an oddball. So, we're gonna have to go weld that up or make some decisions. What do we do? 4-link it? Ton swap it right now? Yeah, probably not. But, so Vegas or bust.
And we're going home, sweet home.
Yeah, it's time to go home. So let's, we're gonna head off to the big city. But first thing third, I need to get cleaned up. I might be homeless, but I don't need to smell that way. So, we're gonna unravel the DFG off-road tent out here. A little privacy tent. And while I don't need privacy per se, I would like to get out of the dust and not have my entire body just clung with dust after I get clean. So, we're gonna unravel that. We grab a shower pouch. Let's see if I can get cleaned up a little bit. Do you think that was fast? I thought that was fast. Name that movie down below. But in all seriousness, feeling like Clark Kent stepping out of the phone booth, a whole new man. Anyways, off to the big city. Let's go.
Lady at the front desk was like, "You haven't been here in 2 years?" I was like, "No." She's like, "2 years is a long time."
It is unbelievable the amount of crap you collect in the storage unit. We haven't been here in 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh! Yeah, and I'm standing on a parts crawler. So. That's fun. Let's find some stuff to do van life.
So we had to do van life. While the Jeep was in the shop and we were waiting on parts, we needed some place that we could survive the elements and keep all of our stuff, which was really nice because for the past 2 days it was 20 to 30 mile per hour winds with 50 mile per hour gusts. And let me tell you, the tent is nice, but when it blows like that, it shakes a lot. So let me give you a little tour of our home. Right in here is our sleeping bags, which was out of storage. We grabbed these mats when we used to sleep in the ground tent. These mats were amazing, so these were really nice to stay in the van, which this was an amazing little adventure that we had for sure. Definitely, if we ever do van life in the future, we need some place that we can stand up, because how many times I've hit my head on this. It's been quite funny. But here's our little home away from home. I'm just out here checking on the dogs. It's about 93 degrees here in Vegas today, so we have the AC running in the U-Haul van, and they're doing good. They got some water, and we've been for a few walks, and right now Blake is just dismantling the Jeep, getting the brake lines out of the way, and taking out the control arm because it looks like there are 2 cracks. So it's gonna be fun.
Well, we were in quite a predicament. I rolled into Vegas and had that broken control arm bracket right onto the frame. But we stopped over at our friends at Off-Road Warehouse. These guys have been amazing. We've used Off-Road Warehouse for parts and different services throughout the entire build of this over the years. We stopped in and saw our friends. So huge thank you to these guys, James, Andrew, for letting us come in, wrench on the rig, borrow your welder, take up a bay for the whole day. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So these guys were awesome. We're in Vegas, stop in and see these guys. But we got that all welded up, taken care of. So tried van life. That was interesting. But let's jump back in the Jeep and get out of the city. Well, good morning. Morning from the desert out here, south of Las Vegas, Nevada. We've got some more maintenance to do on the Jeep this morning. Well, I was really appreciative Off-Road Warehouse let us come in and borrow the welder and buzz all this back together. I didn't want to take up their shop bay any longer than I absolutely had to. But I had some squealing going on and whatnot from the brakes, it seems like. So, and either way, we need to do a tire rotation on this thing. So we grabbed some tools from our storage unit and packed those into the apartment over here. So I'm going to yank those out and grab some brake parts while we were in town yesterday. And bust some of these apart, get a tire rotation done, and check in on the brakes, and probably replace them anyways just because we're in there. But let's grab some stuff. So when we packed our whole life into a storage unit about over 4 years ago, I had pretty much a whole shop worth of tools in there. So it's kind of nice to be back in this area and have some stuff to work with. Torque wrench, a few other things. Jack stand for safety. Let's bust this apart. So for the tire rotation, we're going to use the spare to do it, but the spare tire on this is a set off of our old set. From a long time ago, we were just being cheap and only bought 4 tires. So, but I'm going to use that one to rotate my way around so that I can use the jack on each corner. There is a jack stand under there for a little bit of safety. But we'll just throw that tire on as we go around. Oh. Spacer off here. Quite a bit of brake dust, but what's the deal here? No major scoring. A little bit of glaze, but so what is the deal? Still have quite a bit of shoe material on there. Oh, let's compare them with the new ones and see if it's worth changing out these brakes or not. It is quite a bit of difference in material, but that's still quite a bit of material left on there. Not being lazy, but I just don't know that I need to do this yet. I think we might just take some sandpaper and knock the glaze off the inside of that. Save a little bit of money. And just adjust out the shoes a little bit. I got some of the glaze scuffed off that, so I'm just gonna pop this back on. It is actually kind of a pain to get some of the brake parts for this. These axle shafts and this setup with the front with the locking hubs is out to a Jeep CJ pattern, so 5 on 5.5, and these axle shafts are drilled for both. So, but in order to get the TJ drum to fit with the 5 on 5.5 pattern, I have to take new drums and run them to a machine shop, have them drilled out, or attempt to drill that with a Christmas bit or something myself. So, trying to preserve these parts for the time being. Got a little bit of slop in here, so I think I'm going to just go with adjusting out the drums a little bit. And we'll see how that goes. We'll check on the front. Maybe it was squealing from the front. To be honest, the wheelbase is so short, it's kind of hard to tell. Rotate your side up. Nope. Let's come up towards me. Well, they have picked up all those parts for nothing. There's plenty of pad life on this side. I guess we'll see if we had something excessively burned out on the other side. That's where I thought I could hear it coming from. But don't feel any bearing play. There's definitely plenty of pad on here. So, just going to go with retorquing our spacers and the tire rotation. So it's actually quite the system in order to torque these spacers on the front. There's no weight on it, right? I can't just torque it against the friction of the ground. So what we end up doing is I lock both hubs in, and then even with the hubs locked in, we'd have an open carrier, right? So one side, the side that's in the air, it's going to spin. Now, I use the locker, engage the front locker, so we lock up the entire drivetrain and the vehicle's in four-wheel drive. So then I've got this locked right up using the drivetrain so I can torque the spacer on and then put the wheel on. It's just a bit of a process. Well, what we thought was going to be a brake job and a whole bunch of other work turned out to just be a simple tire rotation. So, I don't know, maybe there was a rock in there making something squeal, but either way, now I get to return about $200 worth of parts back to O'Reilly's.
Yeah.
Bonus. And kick it on back to town and return the apartment. So, Vegas or bust? Again. All right, we'll kick it into town and head back out. See you soon. Well, we're back. We finally made it out after doing a bunch of repairs in Vegas and got everything situated again. So that's good news. And we made it to the other side of that mountain, which I was talking about in the beginning of the episode. Brown one, way further over, not the tan one. Anywho, did make it back out. This place is gorgeous.
It's absolutely beautiful out here.
Terrain really changes, and you get into some of this kind of sandstony rock and a bunch of layers. It's really pretty. So we are actually out on Bitter Springs Trail. So this runs just south of Valley of Fire in southern Nevada, and spits you out over towards Lake Mead. So we're going to pack it up and continue on with this trail. I'm going to show you guys this. It's epic.
Stay tuned.
Landscape of the American West is incredibly diverse. Something I love about Southern Nevada, Arizona, Southern California too for that matter. But right now in Southern Nevada where we're at, it's just these orange tinged rocks and backed up against some of these muddy mountains. This place gets me every time. It's so pretty. Love coming through here. I think I mentioned this a little bit in the last video, but the trail conditions have definitely changed over the past couple of years. Yeah, it's been a few years since we've been out here. The rains, it's a couple of good winters, really to change some of the washed out sections in some of these trails. This definitely used to be a Subaruable. You could drive it in a Subaru kind of trail, and now I don't think I would do that. There's some bigger washed out points, and it's very rocky, so we're aired down to squish and just cruising through. And it's not that difficult by any means, but there is definitely some spots where tire placement, take careful judgment depending on the rig you're in. And this thing's on 35s, and we got some decent clearance. But yeah, definitely the rains did some damage to the trails. Flushed some of the smaller rocks out. But glad we were able to make it out through this one. It's unbelievably pretty. Beautiful. there, guys. Oh, what an epic trail. Really enjoyed that trail. I'm so glad we got to make it back out here. Landscape changes so much. Diving through some red rock, and it's epic. Got to see some wild horses.
Which was so cool.
It's cool. See, 5 or 6 of them out there. It was awesome. And then you continue on, and we dove down into the open landscape, and then dove down even more down into the wash. Right now, we're just at the end of the trail. Just finished up some lunch and some Puerco Verde tacos. They were delicious. But as you can see, I'm all bundled up here in layers, like the onion I just ate. Yeah, the weather has taken a turn here in southern Nevada. Winter is coming. So it's time for us to air back up, pound some pavement miles, and join the rest of the snowbirds down in Arizona. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.